where we were blessed with another cool video of yours truly, our favorite banana boy Weezy, you know, with another cool rage bait clickbait title. Gas pass on MVM, a fake problem. Okay. Already right off the bat, exciting stuff. It's not exactly a fake problem. It's one of the many problems, if you really think about it. But yeah, so I'd get ahead of myself. And,
The gas passer has always been MVM's biggest problem child. It's probably sparked more player outrage than every weapon in the game combined. Now, if you've never touched the game mode before, you'd find that hard to believe. In casual, this thing's a peasant class couch potato, the brown standard of TF2 weapon design. But they don't know what he does on his off time. The gas passer is at the top of MVM's food chain, and many people do not like that. You all know the story by now. Videos, vote kicks, chat wars, hate groups centered around copious amounts of food. It may have died down in recent years, but it's never really ended. And today, I figure we go in depth as to why that is. Think of this like a part 2 to my original video made a few years back. The iceberg is much deeper than it appears. The conclusion I've maintained ever since the gas passer came to prominence was that much of the hatred directed at the weapon was more so a product of ego than genuine gameplay implications. That Explode on Ignite enabled bad players to inflate their kill counts unjustifiably, and high tours got really salty over that fact. Now,
I don't know if it's about, you know, the kill count in general, if it was just people disliking it because it was just brain dead to use. Obviously don't know the opinions of everyone that hates that weapon, but to me it was just an unbalanced piece of shit among, you know, all this other unbalanced crap that we also have. So, am I mad they're taking kills away? Not necessarily. I mean, if the gas passer doesn't do it, then, you know, everybody else would probably do it. But it's just that a pyro class, which is a close range class, probably shouldn't have a nuke that you could just throw across the map, you know, like a, I don't know, any other class doesn't have a nuke they can throw across the map. Why doesn't Scout have explosive milk, for instance? Huh? Just doesn't make sense.
that seems like quite the uncharitable brush to paint such a wide sector of MVM's community with. And fair enough. So how about we play devil's advocate and run through all the best arguments relating to the gameplay front. What many people claim is their actual reasoning for disliking the weapon. Well, first, I think it's worth noting that not all overpowered strategies are made equal. In fact, Man vs. Machine has a lot of broken tech. Wrangler shield blocking, medic canteen spam, buster locking for free meter charges. There are endless amounts of ways to trivialize the game. Yet for some reason, these cases receive little to no widespread condemnation. In fact, they're often endorsed by the same people who decry Explode on Ignite as MVM's death nail. That's because while these tactics are overpowered, they're the fun kind of overpowered, the kind that enhances the gameplay instead of taking away from it. This can even be applied in less blatant ways. The Beggar's Conch combo might be kinda cheap, but your whole team is getting the aggression heavy buffs just as you are. Ideally, nothing should be broken, but if anything were to fall under that umbrella, it should be strategies that amplify team synergy, not strip it away. This, in my opinion, is where the gas passer falls short. If you're someone whose main priority in MVM is the gameplay experience above all else, Explode on Ignite makes a strong case for being a fun inhibitor, not a fun enabler. This is especially prevalent in how it invalidates a lot of the game mode's more high-end strategies, which could be a rationale for why it's viewed more unfavorably by veterans than newcomers. A heavy playing at ball-slapping distance, tanking shitloads of damage with the hope of regenning it back via health on kill? Stolen. Hope you had a medic on your team. The demo? Trashing 100 credits on a crit sticky pile to assure the medics go down? Should've saved your money. If you think it ends there, it doesn't. Soldier banners, Heatmaker focus, crits on kill, Uber charges, Sapper AoEs, Mad Milk, even flog crits from another pyro. All interesting, impactful mechanics that get invalidated by a long-range nuke shoot. And because of how spammable the gas passer is, that situation pops up a lot. A lot of players like to hand-wave these points away by saying that MVM is a PvE game mode, and PvE balance doesn't matter. But let me be real, I don't think the people making that claim even agree with what they're saying. Of course PvE balance matters. Do you think that every game should have a skip to the end button? Do you think that every game should come part and parcel with invincibility cheats? Of course not. The reason why Man Up is treated so differently is because everyone wants their pull of the lever. You don't actually hate PvE balance. You just like gambling more. And by the way, I'm there too. Wanna know why I don't play community missions? Because I've been the mouse in the conditioning chamber for over 10 years, and the thought of me not getting my cheese is a debilitating prospect. I will get my 6 and 2, and no one will stop me. But
it's not really a great mindset to have, you know. I do it for the gambling, even though I get fucking dog shit loot at the end. Probably get some help if that's all you're really, you know, looking for in MVM. Just saying. Especially if you put tons and tons of hours into probably one of the worst gambling games you could possibly play. But okay, sure. But yeah, the truth about the gas passer taking away other buffs, like someone throws a milk, the gas passer just deletes everything, the milk's wasted. You can't charge anything off of robots that immediately disappear. You can't get any health and kill effects on it. You know, it doesn't really synergize with the rest of your team. And that's also probably a really, really bad design, you know, Valve, just saying. But, you know, you don't have to have the synergy if you delete everything in the first place anyway, so what do you want, right? You wasted that milk? Oh yeah, you fucking doodly do, right? Everything's dead anyway, so... Still.
the lesson to be learned there isn't that PvE balance doesn't matter, it's that you shouldn't be left within 5 meters of a casino without wearing a dog collar. However, for the people who aren't wired like that, the players who would happily run over to boot camp if Man Up got axed, I can see how rampant gas passer usage flies in the face of what they want out of the game mode. So is it really fair to say that the majority of player outcry against the weapon stems from ego, as I and many others have claimed for years? Yep, I still stand by it. But how? How could that be? How could the gameplay implications of the gas passer be so flagrantly unfun to so many people, yet you still hold the position that it isn't the primary driver behind its bad rep? Oh, look at Weezy, bending himself into a pretzel to defend his phony conclusion. Save it. If there's anything I've learned about researching high tour circle jerks, it's that you should never underestimate how dumb they can get. And also, these guys will pay me for it. That's right.
So yeah, the topic of overpowered stuff, you know, is not limited to just the gas passer. And the point he's trying to make is that if you complain about this being broken, you should also be complaining about this other shit being broken. And that's a valid point, right? Because you're trying to hide behind the fact that it's unbalanced, you know, it's not skillful to use and whatever, and then you use that other shit that's equally overpowered, if not more, and also requires very little skill, you know, maybe more input for credits, but not really that, you know, challenging to do ultimately.
And 7 days of premium account status. It's a limited time offer. Here's your chance. Okay, alright, back to the issue at hand. Why do I believe that the gas passer's hate isn't a product of its effect on the game mode? Well, let's start with the most obvious reason. High tours have prioritized optimization over fun for who knows how long. I don't even think I need to explain this one. Almost everyone out there has an MVM campfire story where they decide to goof around as a new player, and some band of tryhards comes along and decides that playing off meta means playing off team. This was much of the reason why TacoBot became as notorious as it did, though their modern presence and general toxicity have waned significantly. But
I don't know why or how TacoBot really got, you know, a foot in the door. I think it's more about being disappointed in Valve, maybe even, you know, instead of doing something more impactful with MVM. After 5 years, you know, of releasing it, we got a weapon that basically made MVM even easier than it already was at that point. I mean, strategies were figured out, you know, everyone knew what to do if they played for 5 years, and the thing that we got was a thing to make everything even easier. Like, why couldn't they actually improve on MVM instead of making it even more brain dead than it was at the time already? So it's my theory. Obviously, you also have the crowd where they have people that just want to shit on other people, and you can understand it too to some extent, because the way the gas passer changed gameplay for pyro players is just, you know, abhorrent to see sometimes. You know, when they just run in, die, kill everything anyway, buy back in, have the gas passer back when they return, and you just repeat that cycle, right? And if they don't have the gas passer, they just fucking turn into an air blast machine. It's just bad practice, right? It teaches bad things. You don't really learn the class overall, you know. And as we've all seen it, you know, the cool pyros that have the gas passer, throwing it at the tank, being absolutely useless, not being able to deal with the tank, you know, just having that over focus on gas passer kills. But that other shit that also matters when you want to play pyro just somehow ends up completely forgotten.
It's not incorrect to claim that many High Tour Harrys believe in that double standard. Really, let's lay out what's been happening here. Anti-gassers feel entirely justified in purposefully gimping their own team's effectiveness to preserve their subjective definition of fun. But when a new player opts to gimp their own effectiveness to preserve their own definition of fun, that's suddenly grounds for a vote kick. It is textbook, rules for thee, not for me, which
that's more of a personal thing, I guess I would say. I mean, a lot of people don't give a shit, you know, what you do, as long as the game moves on. You could literally go idle. They couldn't care less. Some people care, some people don't. You can't just put it all in one basket and say, this is the way it is. I don't care if you use quick bomb launcher, if you use direct hits. You could just try and, you know, change your game, try something else, maybe find some other fun there, right? But you can't tell me that throwing the gas passer over and over and over and over and over 50,000 times in a row, you're not playing for fun. There's no way, okay?
which confirms, in my eyes at least, that there's no defining principle behind the vote kick. No appeal to prioritizing fun over efficiency or efficiency over fun. The logic behind it is, fuck you, I'm the High Tour, and if you want me to carry you plebs, bend to my demands no matter how arbitrary. And speaking of arbitrary, this leads us to the shining example of High Tour hypocrisy. The canary in the literal coal mine. The Idle Rock Sniper. If you've watched this channel before, you're well acquainted with this strategy by now. Teleporter on the rock, equip the Heatmaker, and carry the entire game standing in one spot while the rest of your team does nothing but give back shots to the tank. The NG will even put his dispenser in a secluded cubby just for you, forcing the rest of your team to fight for the one medium ammo pack up front. All while one player, using a broken weapon, rocking a fucking invisibility cloak, solos the entire mission. You want to talk about fun inhibiting strategies, there's no better example in the entire game. And yet, in my 160 tours of Mecha Engine, enough experience to put me in the top 300 worldwide, you want to know how many times I've seen someone get kicked or even criticized for exploiting the map? Zero. Fucking zero.
And this is something I can totally get behind, right? If the gas passer is fucking hated for being overpowered, why is this accepted? Why is slapping the sniper on a rock where it's basically invincible accepted? Doesn't make sense to me. You're not having any fucking incredible skill there either. You know, if that is the angle, you're just fucking talking out of your ass at that point. If you hate gas passer and do this, you're a fucking moron, okay? And if it was me, okay, this shouldn't be tolerated either. And if I'm gonna go into Mecca and see this shit happening, I'm gonna go pyro and fucking air blast some bosses. That's just the way how it is, okay? I'm just... It's the same fucking dog shit. Okay.
And by the way, that's completely fine. I'm not saying people should get kicked for using an optimal strategy, but don't give me this bullshit about how the gas passer is some crime against humanity when you're willing to let shit like this walk free. The question is so fucking obvious. If all you truly cared about was the output of the game, in what universe does a strategy as oppressive as this become widely accepted by the player base for years? It's in the fucking name. Idle rock. You are literally idling. People will literally make alt accounts to sit and spawn for more Australium dice rolls while 2 players duo the mission. And you're telling me that gas users should be pelted into Gray Man's welfare net? But not this? A common defense of the Idle Rock Sniper is that landing headshots at least requires a fair bit of skill, unlike the Gas Passer. Now, let's ignore for a moment that you're entirely untargetable by enemy robots, have infinite ammo, and can one-shot everything that emerges from the cave. It shouldn't matter. If all I'm concerned about is how a weapon affects the outcome of the game, the difficulty in achieving that feat should have no bearing on whether or not it's acceptable. I don't care if the ratio of Godrock snipers to Gas 8 pyros is 10 to 1, 100 to 1, or even 1,000 to 1. Fuck, that's a lot of furries. If the outcome on the match is one that facilitates boredom, there's no reason you should be giving this a free pass. This goes doubly for Scottish resistance spam on Empire, by the way. I've legitimately seen pyros get kicked on wave 1 for having the gas passer equipped, but then a high tour demo comes in to replace them, one-shots everything in the game, then leaves, and those same people don't say anything about it. So, no, I don't buy the argument that the Sanctity of MVM's gameplay is really what's on trial here. These methods of carrying might be more respectable given their heightened skill floors, but both of them are more overpowered and cause more boredom than any gas passer pyro ever could.
So much is really true. You know, the amount of times you fall asleep by fucking scores damage just dominating the whole mission. Mind-blowing, really. So yeah, if you fucking shit on gas passes, but this is okay, it's just nonsense. If you hate on the one thing, you should also hate the other shit, and I hate all of this shit, okay? But you could make the argument that for the scores to work, especially if you take the community aspect, in it you need to know how the mission plays out, right? You need to have the position, and it doesn't always work. There's also more battalions coming around in community, you know, where that doesn't work. What battalions isn't really affected by is just explosive headshot. You can still headshot, you can still do tons of damage even if the battalions is out. And it's also still easier to use overall in general. So and that might just be because, you know, the Hitman's Heatmaker is just a piss easy weapon to use in general. You know, it's like the training wheel of sniper rifles, as I like to call it, because you can just keep shooting. And yeah, I don't know, this is all fucked. Welcome to MVM, I guess.
What's the justification for allowing one but not the other? Because it's difficult? Why would that matter if all you care about is your fun? I don't care if it's from a low tour shitter or a high tour hitter. I don't care if it's from a fart cloud, sticky bomb, or sniper rifle. You aren't getting the fun that you desire out of the game. And the difference in attitude between the two scenarios tells me that there's another value being appealed to here. And what is that value? Vanity. That's what I think. Heatmaker snipers and SR demos have earned the right to defund the game, where the lone gas pyro relies on a crutch and therefore does not deserve that right. The idle rock sniper robbing your kills? That's just a part of the game. The gas passer pyro robbing your kills? Rev up those F1s. This is exactly why all of the talk about Explode on Ignite being overpowered rings to me as nothing but hot air. Not because the gas isn't overpowered, it is. But most of these people don't care about oppressive strategies making the game boring. What they actually care about is whether or not the person making it boring is worthy enough to do so. I'm sure there are players out there that do apply the standard equally, that all overpowered tactics should be discouraged in the name of keeping the game mode fresh. And while I personally disagree with that viewpoint, I don't mind it. It's a completely rational end if your main goal is making the game mode fun. I'm not here to paint everyone who would rather play without the gas passer as a closeted TacoBot member, but it is my belief that the problem has been wildly misdiagnosed. If anything, I'd argue the biggest problem with the gas passer was more so the trickle-down effect of making Pyro as a class more viable and fun. It created a never-ending flood of shit-eating players throwing themselves into cock-sniffing distance for even the tiniest pixels of meter generation. Pre-Jungle Inferno, they'd probably just stick to shooting rockets from their perch like a good little low tour, or playing Pyro anyways and getting no semblance of reward out of it. That problem usually corrected itself. Actually, you know what? I think the worst part about Explode on Ignite as an upgrade has nothing to do with how broken it is. It's the very fact that Pyro now became a de facto medic killer, often the lone medic killer, yet his entire player base are somehow oblivious to that fact. Before Jungle Inferno, Pyro's role was an all-purpose damage dealer and tank buster, so he'd usually become a replacement for the team's soldier or heavy.
You know, the term replacement still shouldn't be there, like nothing replaces something else. You could switch it out with something else. But yeah, the point is still valid, right? And this is exactly how it was. You had Pyros before Jungle Inferno, and they basically had the same problem with Spy, right? Where they weren't really good, so the class was thought to be shit. So everyone didn't really want to see you play it, but now it's a bit mellowed out, especially with Spy and Sniper 2. But now everyone expects the Pyro to do the shit, right? We expect them to deal with the Uber medics and with the tanks and everything. But a good chunk of them just don't know what they're doing, right? They see the gas passer explode, and that's it. There's no more thoughts in their head, you know, thinking about what else to do. And that's really the problem. In the player base there, but on the other spectrum, where you have players that really understand the game and how it works, they can bring this thing to a fucking murder machine on top of doing everything else, right? So the unbalanced nature of it, while dealing with the tank, and then killing shit across the map but just lobbing it over there, that's the problem. And that's something that Sniper and even Demoman can't really do. I mean, Demoman can it to some extent when you have some stickies on the tank and somewhere on the field, but you can't do like one thing and then just kill everything on the other side of the map. And when either a Sniper kills something in front of the map or deals with the tank, you can't do both, right? So you can shoot some at the tank and then turn around and shoot at crap that's coming from the other direction, but you know, not in that quick switch scenario.
We are not in that era anymore. If you're holding the can, the expectation is that you'll be able to deal with the medics. So now, you're also a replacement for the sniper or demo. That's right. With great power comes great responsibility. And sadly, the bootcamp player base haven't quite figured out that last part yet. Look, not liking the gas passer is completely fine. So too is believing that it's an overall detriment to the game mode. Just don't make shit up. Don't shoehorn in selective outrage to make the weapon seem worse than it is. It's kinda bullshit, it has a lot of negative externalities, and its community mission ban is probably valid. But I'll never, ever understand how such a wide selection of prominent high tours had the most ardent, scorched earth policy against it for so fucking long. A genuine concern around poor PvE balance became impossible to separate from mentally ill schizo clans that warrant collective imprisonment in a foam castle. And of all the fake problems surrounding the gas passer, that, gentlemen, is definitely a real one. See ya. Massive thanks to
So yeah, the fake problem isn't really a fake problem. It's still a problem, but it's more widespread, right? It's still an unbalanced weapon, and there's more unbalanced weapon than we have way more problems than that too if it comes to, you know, all this other crap like God rocks and nav mesh shit in general, and all this other broken shit like ghost upgrades, which is not really the biggest deal, but still something that's kind of bugged. But yeah, gas passes being a fake problem isn't really true. It's more of a blown out of proportion problem, if you want to call it that, because a lot of people just shab on it for real justified reasons, but it's also almost used like a tool. Hey man, this guy is using this thing, so it gives you the right to shit on them in a way. But I don't know. You know, if the whole goal of MVM is to just win and kill shit, then nothing should matter, right? If you have scores, snipers, and gas passes in one bag, it shouldn't matter. It shouldn't even matter if you cheat at that point, right? But somehow we're separating this crap because we're holding different standards of what is okay and what is not. And that's the real problem, right? The people are the problem. We have separate standards and then people just care, people don't care. And I swear to God, in a world where we wouldn't have all this other broken shit like scores, Heatmaker, beggars maybe even, if you want to lob it in there, everyone would be using the gas passer, right? If none of this other broken shit would exist, everyone would be using this. That's real. But, you know, we're not living in an ideal world, so we're never gonna see this fixed, so the outrage over it all, as much as I hated it too, like, what are you gonna do about it, right? I'm on my way out on MVM anyway, it's like, why bother, man? I can just, you know, look at the guys, throw the shit in the tank, have a laugh, you know, throw a cool gas thing that ultimately kills a fucking Force of Nature support scout, have a laugh, right? Just have a laugh. It's funny. Don't you think? I'm on my way out in MVM anyway. I mean, to be fair, I've been on my way out for like, what? 6 years maybe? Then Potato kind of dragged me back in a little, you know, with community shit. But I don't play as much anymore as I used to. So I wouldn't consider myself, if I had a choice, right, between playing MVM and anything else, I would probably pick the anything else. Because I know MVM already. There's nothing new in it. No matter how dog shit the other experience might be, I'd still fucking try that. Over the thing that I already know. You know, that I've been doing for years and years. Without end. And I really don't know how all these fucking grinders do it. I mean, I can get behind doing some real monotonous shit, okay? I've worked 10 years in a really monotonous fucking workplace, right? Where you basically do the same shit over and over again for 8 hours straight. But fuck me, man. Playing 3,000 tours of this shit on a daily basis for like 10 years straight. How are they still alive? I would have fucking ended myself years ago.